What do you mean by that? I don't understand. When you know too soon, it's causing what kind of a problem?
Well, I tend to jump to conclusions knowing that I have the solution, right?
Yes.
So I don't dig deeper because I can already see it fits.
Okay.
Because often people don't have to tell me as much as, but I should still keep digging.
Okay. Are you a Ruby by any chance?
Yeah.
Perfect example of what a Ruby is. Let's see. I feel Felix is saying, I feel as if I'm rude when I try to ask personal questions. Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like you're a pearl. Am I wrong? Felix, I can't hear you. Are you a pearl by any chance? Please unmute. Still can't hear you. Okay, just type it in, Felix. If I got that right, please. Melinda's a Ruby. Okay. Hold on. Felix, Amy, muted myself. Okay. Nguyen Tao is in contract to Amy. I could not see pain level 3, even level 2 in business setting. Okay. Interesting. So different challenges with pain, with dealing with pain. Felix, you're a pearl. There you go. Interesting, how one sentence and how people express themselves, you can tell right away what kind of gem types they are. So just so that you know who I am, I didn't introduce myself. I'm a season 11 HTC graduate. So September 2019. So I've been full-time closing since graduation, and I've been doubling my income every year since then. I'm an HTC coach, so it is possible. If I can do it, everybody can do it. It's just a question of making sure that you keep on improving and never forget the importance of going back to module 1. And whenever you come to a dead end with what you're trying, it's always going back to module 1, redoing the letter to yourself, the reason why, and your vision board. And all of a sudden you'll be able to access a different level and see things on a different level. So how many levels of pain are there? Let me ask you this. Put it in the chat. Let me see. Do you know? Amy, 3. Lucy, 3. Yeah. Excellent. So you know that. So what's level 1 pain?
General pain.
Surface pain.
Business pain.
Surface pain. What does surface pain mean? Let's understand this first of all. Surface pain.
Okay, sorry.
Who wants to share what surface pain is?
Me, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Surface pain is about what they are dealing right now. That's like maybe their business traffic jam, like marketing or selling, or if they were worker, they are work for other long hour, long year.
Okay.
That's all the surface pain.
Okay.
Those are
very good.
Yeah.
Who has a different definition?
I do. Yeah. But what they're ready and willing to share. Like what they see immediately without having to look too deep.
Okay. Yes, Lucy.
I would add, this is what they communicate to us. This is like a continuing of what Amy said. This is what they feel. It is the pain.
I like all of those answers. The one that's easier to identify out of those 3 is what Lucy shared. Does anyone else have a different definition of what surface or level 1 pain is?
Well, it's the
Felix.
visible symptom, right?
Visible symptom. Yes, it is visible. Why is it visible?
Because you feel it. That's what's shown on the surface.
Yes.
But you don't see the root of it.
Yes. You're all correct. In order to be able to get to level 3 pain, though, you need to have very simple, clear clarity is key in order to be able to go and bring a prospect to a decision. So the simplest definition I was able to find is pain that people are willingly ready to share. Okay, that is the simplest one. It could be any form, it could be anything. Whatever they're sharing without you having to prod and nudge is level 1 pain. What's level 2 pain? Who has a definition? Go ahead. This is an interactive workshop role play. Yes.
Okay, I think
Amy.
that it's the business pain, and it's when you ask them some questions, they start to dig a little bit when they feel like they trust you a bit more to share a little more.
Yeah.
But it's not really like it's not the personal pain that they feel really deep inside. So they're not. It's between the I'm comfortable to share this and I'm totally uncomfortable to share this. It's the middle.
Okay. Yes, you're right. However, that definition is not, and that's okay. That's why you're here. It's not clear enough as far as I can tell. Does anyone have a different definition?
Maybe
Yes.
it's a pain which they think it is really, I don't know, maybe the cause, or it's what they feel in the broad perspective, like regarding money. They don't have money.
Okay. Sometimes people like to complain that they don't have money, and they just come out and say it. I'm sorry, I don't have money, or my life sucks because I don't have money to do what I want. Tao, you wanted to share something.
Service pain is something that the cost of inaction is huge. So if they don't do something about the service pain, if they don't do something about it, they're gonna have a big problems in the long term.
Okay.
That's what I see.
Felix, thank you, Tao. Felix, you feel like sharing? Are you able to unmute yourself?
Me?
No, Felix.
Yeah, sorry. As I said, I couldn't hear because my screen was freezing up a lot. Can you guys hear me?
Now we can hear you, yes. Okay, so just to move this along, based on your answers, I would suggest... Sorry, Felix, you were going to say something? There's a little delay in what you're doing.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes, it sounded like you wanted to share something, but there's a delay. So...
Yeah, so I'm really sorry. Getting a lot of freezing. No, honestly, I have no idea what level 2 pain is. I think I have an idea what level 1 and level 3 is. The bit in between, I'm very confused.
All right. So first thing I would recommend you do is get a good definition in your mind what those 3 levels are. The ones I came up with are level 1 is a publicly shared. Level 2 is privately shared, which means you need to get some type of rapport going and some kind of confidence from them, willing to open up a little bit. So something that they would share with friends and people that they're more comfortable with. Level 3 pain is an emotional pain that they don't even feel comfortable addressing. Do you always need to get to level 3 in order to close? Who has the answer to that? Is it yes or is it no? Type it in the chat. Let me see. And you can be wrong. Don't worry about it. The purpose for today is to learn and improve, and by making mistakes, that's the way you're going to do it better. So here's one trick that might alleviate some of the pressure off of you. You don't always have to go to level 3 pain. So don't get fixated on level 3. The idea is that you need to find the level of pain that is sufficient for them not to want to stay in their current situation. So you need to find what is going to make it less painful for them to want to make a change for the better than stay where they are. That's the level of pain you need to go to in order to close. Doesn't always have to be level 3. Okay. So with certain rubies, they've already decided. They'll come into the call and the decision is already made. All you need to figure out is what is it that's going to make them take the next step.
Can you say the last sentence again?
Sure. With some rubies, they'll come into the call already having decided to make the move. All they need is some kind of validation. So you need to understand what's going to take them, what's going to be needed for them to take the step, and then just go from there. All right. So knowing your gem types is very important as well. Who knows the gem types? How many are there, by the way? 4, exactly. Who can tell me what those are? Go ahead. Yes. Go ahead.
Ruby, sapphire.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Ruby, sapphire, pearl, and emerald.
You got it. Not only did you get it right, you got them in the right order.
Okay. Ruby, sapphire, emerald, and pearl.
No. Now you got it wrong. Ruby, sapphire, pearl, emerald.
Emerald.
Yes.
Like this one.
Yes. You went
Why
through
this order?
Have you gone through your coaching session number 3?
Yes.
You have? Did you do the gem type?
It was there, and
Yeah.
I didn't remember the reason if it was said. I thought it is a coincidence.
Okay. If you're not comfortable and you don't know why, I would recommend you talk to your coach and have them go over it again. I don't want to divert the conversation today, but it's very critical. All right. Now, who's willing? I'm going to take 1 or 2. Who's willing to share their process? The one that's having the most difficulty. Thank you, Amy. I would still recommend that you go and talk to your coach. And there's a particular reason why you address the questions in that order. Who would like to share their process of digging into pain in 1 sentence? Let's go with Amy.
Ask questions with intent.
Okay.
Wait, with finesse. Ask
Okay.
questions with finesse.
Yes, ask questions with finesse. But how would you describe the process?
For me, it's getting into their world,
Okay.
taking myself out of mine to be there with them.
Okay. I like that definition. If anybody else has a definition on how they see pain digging, put it in the chat. What Sifu talks about is digging into pain. Do you have another one? Please share. As I'm going through this, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on what the foundation of identifying pain points are, and then we're going to work a little bit on practicing this out. I don't want to make this into a lecture. So there's basically 2 methods of going into pain. And for you to understand what those 2 methods are, do you know what motivates people to make a change or make a decision? Yes, Amy?
Moving away from something that hurts or towards something that gives them pleasure.
Yes. So pain and pleasure are the 2 motivators. Which one of those 2 is the most immediate that people want to take action on? Somebody other than
Pain.
Amy? Yes?
Pain.
Pain? Okay. Just type it in the chat. That's fine. I want everybody to participate. Yes, it's pain. You've got it. However, the danger with pain is if the pain is gone, the motivation to take action is also gone. Pleasure is a more indirect reason for taking action, but is a more permanent change. So thinking about those two, does it give you a hint on what the two different ways of digging or identifying pain could be? Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, there's the digging for what hurts, and then there's also like the creating the possibility of it's the future pacing, the having them see what's possible if you're going towards pleasure.
Right. Now, if one is the polar opposite of the other, so when you're having pain, you want to get rid of the pain by finding something that's going to take care of removing the pain, right? Now, typically, emotional pain, as I mentioned, is very hidden. People want to protect against it. They don't want to face that pain. So they create a web of lies that they start believing in. And sometimes it can be very difficult to pierce through that. One way that I found that makes it easier to go level 3 is instead of trying to go for the pain, identify what they want to move towards, and that will give you the reflection on the pain. The challenge there is that you have to be very empathic. You have to be very, you have to listen actively, and you have to come in with an empty cup. And when you can do that, you can have somebody talk to you and share with you the objectives, the reasons why, but most importantly is what's stopping them from doing this, and what would it take for them to go there, and what it would represent, and how it would make them feel by achieving their goal. So that already you can start creating a picture of what their pain points are. And then what you can do is repeat back to them and express and share a feeling with them, which allows them also to feel comfortable with you because you started sharing first, and then they'll be more open to sharing what they're feeling, and they're not really comfortable talking to other people about it. Any questions on this?
Not a questions, but I felt that you just share that after asking them the questions and comment with empty cup, we repeat back to them and express and share them how we feel. That is very important, and that make them feel understood.
Exactly. You got it. Now, thinking back to the coaching sessions that you had in HTC, who's gotten to the part where you're talking about dysfunctions of a team? Amy. Tao, yes. What's the first thing that you need to do? The first challenge on overcoming dysfunctions? Yes.
It's like being authentic, sharing. I don't remember what it is. It's go first or something.
Yes. Lack of confidence is the first thing.
Okay.
Is the challenge, is the dysfunction, and the solution to that is going first.
Okay.
So can you see how a closing call is similar to a dysfunction within a person, and that by applying that principle, you can overcome the unwillingness of a prospect to share their pain with you. So, any questions up to now? Anything that doesn't make sense for you, please disagree with me. If that's the case, I welcome it. If anyone has a questions up to now, is it crystal clear? If you don't have any questions, I'm going to start demonstrating, and then we'll practice it a little bit. Yes, Tao.
What do you mean by applying 5 dice function to the closing call?
Okay. Well, dysfunctions of a team is basically anytime you have two people working together for a common goal, right? You have a prospect that's looking to solve a problem. You have a closer that's trying to assist them in solving that problem. Do you have two people? Are they working together for a common goal? Is that a definition of a team?
I see.
When the prospect tells you that they want to achieve something, but they're not willing to go in that direction, is that a functional relationship or a dysfunctional one?
It's functional relationship.
Now, can you see how that might be applied?
No, I understand.
Yeah,
The
so
closer and prospect are a team.
if you want to really do high ticket closing, you have to approach it from that point of view. Yes. Okay. So the first thing that you have to overcome is the lack of confidence, the lack of trust from the part of the prospect. And the solution to that is on the right side, which is go first. So Felix, you asked an excellent question. The way I would go first would be, for example, Felix, what I heard from you is that you're looking to be able to have a good retirement. You're worried about not making enough money. You want to have a lifestyle that does this, that, the other thing. You want to spend time with your grandkids. However, you also shared that because you're not making enough money, you can't really do those things. Now, what if I was able to show you a way where you could make the money that you want, and instead of quitting your job and taking retirement in 10 years, you'd be able to do it in 2 years? How would you feel about that? Felix, does that show you a little bit of how you could apply this?
Yes.
You're laughing, eh? Okay.
Now it
Does
is
that
clear.
sound like you, Felix?
Um,
A little bit, maybe?
yeah, no, I get it. It's just because I was thinking, I'm so glad Amy pointed out because I'd forgotten. From the dysfunctional, pyramid, I thought the idea of going first is that you reveal your, how should I say, your insecurity first. So, for example, if you've got a staff member and they're not doing the right thing, then you would say, well, look, hey, I don't always get it right myself. And then you sort of, encourage them or give them the space to feel that they can also open up and say, hey, well, I got this wrong as well. So I was trying to think of, based on that paradigm, as a closer, how can I go first in a way of opening myself up to the prospect so they feel open enough to let me enter their third level pain, if that makes any sense.
Great question, Felix. So let me demonstrate. Felix, I hear that you're getting in your 60s, going on in your 70s, whatever it is, and that you'd like to create this, that, the other thing. I understand where you're going through, because when I was there, this is the challenges that I had. I don't know if it sounds like you, Felix, but how would you feel if I was able to show you how to do that in 2 years instead of 5 years?
Okay, that's very clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm giving you one example on how to apply it. Going first could be what you said. Yes.
No, thank you. I get that.
What I just applied was the feel, felt, found.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you can do that. You can share a story about yourself that takes what they shared with you and makes it personal, and then you go first. The important thing is that you share something that is emotional so that you engage an emotional reaction from them.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Okay. Any other questions? Great questions, by the way. No questions? Everybody understands the process 100%? How to surpass the lie they tell to themselves? Excellent question, Bhuvi. Am I pronouncing your name properly? Bhuvi. Yes?
Yes, Coach Razmig.
Okay,
That's right.
excellent. So, when you get to that stage where you're at level 3, they may start giving you some objections on why they cannot take action. Now, an objection could be hiding a lie, an excuse, or a physical objection that's preventing them from moving forward. The way you can identify the lie is that a lie will usually be followed up by another excuse, another reason, another objection on why they cannot take action. A real objection would be, help me overcome this challenge. I want to get started. Help me find a solution so that I can move past and take action. So I'll give you an idea of a lie. I need to think about it. Great. What do you need to think about? What do you do when you think about it? How does it happen? So how long would it take you to think about it? And what would be the outcome of you thinking about it? What if we take the time to go over some of the elements that you want to think about, because we didn't share everything? And if they go from, I need to think about it, to, yeah, let's work on it, that's probably an excuse, an objection. If they say, okay, but I also need to talk to my wife. Okay, but I also need to look at my budget. So as you're eliminating all of these objections, at the very end, if you see that they're still not committing to taking action, that's probably a lie. And one good way of, and we're diverting from painting now, but one good way of calling out a lie, when you see that you've tried a number of things and they're still giving you excuses, is you do the reverse psychology. When you're getting that, you have to figure that they're below a 7 in a scale of interest, 1 to 10. And what do you do when that's the situation? Put it in the chat. I just gave you a hint about it. It starts with an R. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got it. Reverse psychology.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology. And one way of doing it could vary. And this is just an example. I have no context, so I'm just giving you an example. Let's say, Amy, from the sounds of it, it sounds like this is not a real priority for you. Why would you be even on? Why would you even be on the call with me today?
Do you actually want me to answer that?
No, I'm just giving you an example of how you could call out somebody on their bullshit.
Okay, because I was like, I could give you a bunch of reasons why I want to be here. So, okay.
Yeah, and they will give you some reasons, and then you can start closing them on the different reasons why they can't take action.
Mm-hmm.
The close starts once you get your first objection.
Ooh.
Because they're engaged now?
No, because if there were no objections, you're just an order taker.
Mm-hmm.
They would have signed up on the webpage.
True.
They have some reasons why they can't move forward, so they want to interact with somebody that's going to give them permission to do what they're afraid to do, but no, they need to do. That's what a closer does. Yes, Amy.
So when I've been in my role play, usually it's gone pretty well. But what I've noticed is that when objections come up, that's when I go into over talking.
Okay.
And I don't know why exactly. Like I feel almost like a defensive, even.
Okay. That's objection handling. That's a little different than painting.
Okay. I just didn't know if you had any.
Now you'll get more. Are you getting one or two objections or multiple objections?
Sometimes in practice, we just practice throwing everything at each other.
I see. Okay. It's a different. It's a different situation. But if you're doing a role play of an actual call, you should be getting one, maximum two objections. If you've done an outstanding job during your discovery call, you should not be getting any objections at all. All right. Any other questions while you're role playing? Let's work these out so that I can help you. Go ahead. Yeah, Tao.
Yes, what I see is when we done the closing properly, the objection doesn't come. Sometimes I wait for the objection, but they just don't ask.
Okay. So what do you do when that happens? When there's no objection, what do you do when
So
you've
I
done
ask,
all the?
so what is next?
What is next?
Or
Okay,
where should we go
that's
from
pretty good.
here?
Yes, that's a better question. Definitely. Yeah, a call to action is what you need once everything is said and done. Always remember that. Yeah. Any questions? I'm open. I'm very open to working on whatever you feel is a hurdle to digging for pain. And if there are no questions, we'll go into some practice, actual applications, practicing.
Yeah, I'm curious because I also close for a company in B2B. So I often deal with technical decision makers and like some higher managers who need to agree on the budget.
Yep.
Like they have different points of interest, right?
Yes. Often contradictory interests. Yes.
Right. Right. How do I find out both of their pains? So pain of both people, as well as how to align them so both will say, let's move forward.
In your case, I would strongly recommend that you get the B2B closing secrets. I don't remember exactly what it is, but a good strategy is to start with one person, the one that you have a connection with. Understand what the decision-making process in the business is, knowing that there is a process. If you don't ask, you're going to get the objection. You better ask at the beginning, what is the typical decision-making process? Are you in a position to make decisions of this magnitude? Or what is your level of discretion in this type of a project? And what is the committee or what is the person that needs to validate this decision? And then see if they're a good trick on doing that is getting an inside man or inside person to become the champ, and you become their champion, and you have them become the person that takes all the benefit of making this a reality. So you get a champion within the organization. So they can be your double agent if you want, feeding you information so that when you do talk to the next person, you have some intelligence and you have some information on there. So pain digging questions for B2B. What kind of questions do you ask?
What questions do I ask? First of all, like what's the problem? I ask, why is this a problem? Why does it happen now? Why not earlier? Why not later?
Okay, so can I stop you there for a minute?
Sure.
If I were to tell you what's your problem, what's your first reaction? Don't think about it. If I'm a stranger and I'm coming to you and I ask you, what's your problem? What would your reaction be?
I would be confused and somehow pushing back because I don't want to share anything.
Yeah, that's digging for pain. Would you like to have a better question that you can ask in order to get the same information?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So if there was a problem in your business, what would be the one element that prevented you from getting from where you are today to where you want to get to?
Wait, I'll write this down. So if there was a problem in your business.
Not necessarily worded that way. I find it too long, but that's the approach.
Would you say if there was a problem in your business right now? What was that?
Yeah. What would that be that's preventing you from getting from where you are today to where you want to get to? I don't really like the wording of that question because that would be a two-part question. So I would say,
yeah, rephrase it.
Yeah,
I can rephrase it.
I would probably go, where do you see your business going from in the next year and in the next 5 years? question number one. Question number two, if there was anything that prevented you from doing that, what would it be? What would it be? Follow-up question to that, if there was a way to accelerate that, how would you see that going? So one is talking about the challenge, one is talking about how they would like it to happen. So pain, future pacing. So one's the pain, one's the pleasure. And if you really want to get emotion going, you say, in an ideal world, budget not a constraint. If you could do anything you'd want, how would you like that to happen? Something along those lines. Yes. Yes, Lucy.
Razmig, could you please say again the pain sentence and the future pacing sentence? I'm writing notes.
Sure. Let's see if who was it that asked the question in Germany?
It was me.
What's your name, by the way?
My name is Björn.
Björn.
Yeah, pretty close. That's good.
Björn. Okay, Björn. So to answer Lucy's question, what would be the pain statement and what's the pleasure statement?
Yes. So I wrote down now for the pain statement, if there was a problem in your business right now, what would that be that's preventing you from going from where you are to where you want to go?
That's the original one. That's the original one. What was the two-part? There was a two-part that I gave you.
Yeah, I didn't write this down. I wanted to finish the sentence.
Okay. Okay, I'll repeat it again.
Yeah.
So part one would be, where do you see your business in a year, in 5 years? If there was anything that would prevent you from getting there, what would that be? These are examples, just off the cuff. I haven't practiced any of this. It's just a way of asking questions and understanding a business person. And in an ideal world where budgets or constraints were not a consideration, how would that happen? Meaning, how would you get to 1 year and 5 year objectives? Amy, if anyone wants the recording, because you were here, I'll gladly share it with you. Just send me a direct message. I'll be able to do that with pleasure. Okay, B2B questions, fine. You're a little bit more advanced, Bjorn. Are you already certified? Were you season 7?
No, I just joined in end of December last year. Okay. So, and I also already went through the HD coach program.
Okay, nice. Are you certified?
Yes, I am, but not active yet.
Wonderful. Okay, good. If you need to become an active coach, do you know what are the requirements, by the way?
Actually not.
Ask your coach.
Yeah.
Ask your coach. There are particular requirements you need to do. Make sure you practice strategically.
Right.
Okay, back to pain digging. Yes, Amy.
I just realized one of the things I'm kind of afraid of when I'm digging for pain.
Yes.
Is getting into a conversation that I feel stuck, because sometimes when people get onto their pain, it's like whoosh.
Yes. Okay.
and the whole Ruby part is like, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm just acknowledging it here because I didn't notice that was there until we were here together.
Wonderful. Well, that's a very important element, and I'm glad you brought it up. So as a Ruby, realize that you don't need to fall prey to their pain. You don't need to sympathize. That's not what they're on the call for. You don't need to empathize with their situation. You need to be have enough empathy to understand how you can help them with their objective.
Oh, that I can do.
Okay, so as a Ruby, that might help you.
Thank you.
So it's not a question of going kumbaya and hugging, and no, that's not it. The prospect, you have to remember, the prospect has invested a lot of time and energy, probably years, trying to get unstuck from their situation. They took the initiative to book a call with you. They reserve time in their agenda from their day, they're busy, to get on the call with you. So their whole purpose is not to have a social call. Their whole purpose is how they're there basically to understand, depending on where the funnel takes them, do I trust you enough to give you permission to show me how to go from point A to point B and follow you? That's what they want to find out if they're on a call, because they would do it on the website if they didn't. Number two, do I trust myself enough to feel that I can make it a success? So your purpose is to create trust, enough familiarity with the process, the program, and show them that despite all their lower self and fear of success or failure, they can do this. So you have to give them hope, you have to give them trust, you have to gain their trust, and you have to show them that the program is relative, or I forget the term, that is applicable to solving their problem. You need to show those three things. So that's the purpose of the call. And the reason why you want to address the pain is if there's no pain, there's no reason to move away from their current situation. And the pain of staying in their current situation has to be a lot stronger, immediate, and unbearable than the pain of making a change in their life and running the risk of depleting their bank account, running the risk of losing their friends, running the risk of looking stupid and foolish in front of their family and coworkers. So you have to show that. That's the reason why you want to understand their pain. You don't want to wallow in their pain. You want to understand their pain. So you can basically lift the fog of confusion and show them this is where you want to go, and I know how to get there. Follow me. Basically, that's what you want to do. All right. And the close is getting them to take the first step. That commitment to making that first step is the hardest one. Once they've done that, then it gets easier and easier. Yes, Felix.
Hi, yeah, sorry. I actually wanted to ask the opposite question, because as a Pearl, how do I not get drawn into just empathizing and, as you really eloquently put it, wallowing in their pain with them and not ever leading them into a solution? And this is that's from personal experience.
Excellent question, and I appreciate you for it. By the way, if you don't mind me asking, are you in your 60s, in your 70s, Felix?
I'm actually in my 50s.
You're in your 50s.
Well, I've had a rough day.
Well, one of the reasons why I shave my head is because it makes me look much older than I am. And I'm in my 60s. So to answer your question, so you're still young, Felix. To answer your question, so the challenge for a Pearl is to remember that you have a much better sensitivity to their pain than a Ruby might have. The danger is falling into the hugging and wallowing in their thing. So the idea is you want to connect with them, which should not be a problem for you, but with the intention of helping them change their life. As a suggestion. As a Pearl, that might work better for you.
Okay. Because
always remind yourself before a call that the purpose of identifying pain is to help them move towards a better life, a better quality of life.
Okay.
So you're helping them create a better version of themselves.
Yeah.
You may find that there's another way that you can make sense of it, but I would say for a pearl, that might be it.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean,
Who's a sapphire, by the way? Sorry, Felix. Anyone sapphire? Yes. What's your challenge as a sapphire?
For me, it's ruby sapphire, like equal.
Yeah.
And so with sapphire, it's like I want it to be fun.
Okay. Cool. I'll get into that in a minute. What was your name in Indonesia again? The sapphire there at 3 a.m. in the morning? Unmute yourself, please. Boovie.
Melinda.
Belinda, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's your challenge with pain digging?
Kind of sometimes I kind of don't like to listen them. Because they so annoying sometimes. They just like have many excuses to move forward, because I'm a person who action taker. Tell me if I know my problem and someone tell me you do this, you will get out of problem. Okay, I do. Okay, I do. Okay, I do. And they just like, it's like, okay. Like, okay, sometimes I kick the client out, like, go prepare yourself first, before you come to me, because you're not ready to go. You can't, you want to go there and you are, you think if you are, you think you will get there by, if, blah, 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 blah. If you get there, you already get there, because you've been, how many years you've been thinking about that?
Would you be interested in finding a way that you could probably double your closing rate?
Yes, please.
You have to get comfortable talking to emeralds. They're 50% of the population.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot.
So, the pain point for an emerald, would you be interested in trying to figure out, seeing how that works?
Yes, please.
Bjorn? Was it
yes, it's me.
Okay.
Yes, it's me.
So let's talk about. Let's take 5 minutes. I want somebody to keep time for me. Who's going to do that? Yes. Okay. Melinda. Did I get it right, Melinda? Okay, cool. I'm trying to do everything in my power to keep you awake at 3 a.m. in the morning. 4 a.m. in the morning, even worse. All right. Okay, Bjorn.
Yes.
So what would be the biggest challenge that you're facing right now in achieving your goals?
Like role-playing or?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. What's my biggest challenge in achieving my goals right now? So that I don't exactly know what steps to do. How do I know if I make it right?
Okay.
How could I, how could I make sure I do it right, or how could I judge what I'm doing wrong? How I could make things better. I need somebody who points out things to me, who points out blind spots to me, where I can improve.
Okay. With just that answer, can you tell that he's an emerald? He's talking about system, processes, and all of that. So already that's an emerald. Okay, so if I understand you correctly, Bjorn, you're looking for a systematic way of understanding if what you're doing makes sense and it's taking you in the right direction. Am I understanding you properly?
Yes, that's right. But also something that makes sure that I don't get off track.
Okay. Well, if you're staying on track and you're doing things right, isn't that already an indication that you're not going off track?
Yes, it
or
is.
There something missing?
No, that's good. That's good.
Okay. So if there was a way of doing that, what would it look like for you?
There was a way of making sure that I stay on track?
Yep.
How would that look like? I don't know. I'm curious.
All right. What have you tried up to now?
Have I tried? In terms of closing, well, some scripts,
Okay.
writing out some specific questions,
Yes.
role playing, getting feedback. Yeah, but maybe here the challenge is that I don't get feedback from people who are so much more experienced, who do know what are the blind spots that I don't see.
See. Okay. And if you were to be able to role play with somebody that had more experience than you and was able to point out specifically elements that you needed to improve in your process, so that you had a bulletproof system that you could repeat day in and day out and measure your performance and how you were improving and whether you were on track, how would that look? How would you feel if that was to happen?
Wow, that would be great because I could just move forward.
Excellent. Okay, now getting a smile and an emotion like that from an emerald is a tough thing to do. Now, did you see how I went into what he was looking to achieve and figure out what his pain point was, which is the exact opposite of what he wants to achieve, and offer a solution that might be able to get him there even faster than he was even imagining? Now, Bjorn?
But what? Sorry, you asked me?
Yeah. So coming back to you. Now, if I were in a position to, I would get into probably, so with the way that you're doing things now, have you been able to make some money in closing?
Yes, I have.
Wonderful. So what's the maximum you've made in a month up to now?
Well, at the moment it is 5.7K.
Okay. And is that consistent every month, month after month, or it's fluctuating?
No, at the moment it's consistent because I mainly get paid a fixed salary, small commissions.
Okay.
That's
talking about your commissions. Is the commission itself fluctuating or it's consistent?
Almost consistent.
Almost consistent. How would you like to double that?
Well, increase the commissions.
Yeah. How would you like to double your commissions?
How I would do that?
How would you like to double? Would you like to double your commissions if that was possible for you?
If that was possible, hell yes.
Okay. And if you did make twice as much in commissions, how would that change your life?
Would that change my life? It would give me more freedom, more time, more flexibility, also more chances to say no to my boss.
Okay, cool. And with that time freedom, what would you do?
What would I do with it? Probably focus even more on getting better at closing. Maybe also found a business side hustle that I really enjoy, not just for the purpose of making money, but also for enjoying it, spending more time with friends.
Thank you, Bjorn.
Yep.
Can you see how I started having you visualizing what that would look like? The next step would be actually starting to get you to feel some emotions with that. Does that help you? Everybody. So let's do a quick round of takeaways. Let's see what's the biggest takeaway of each one of you. So our time is actually up. I have a closing call now. It's a follow-up, so it's going to be done. What I would ask you to do is in the Slack, I would ask you to put your biggest takeaways, aha moments, whatever it was, in the Slack so that everybody in the community would be able to benefit from it. That's one. Number two is how you're going to change and what you're going to put into applications starting today. One thing.
Sounds good.
All right. Very good. Well, I appreciate you all for coming, particularly at 4 o'clock in the morning. And thank you very much for organizing this. Please keep in touch with me. And If you need any help with anything, reach out to me. I'll do this again.
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for all your insights and all your feedback, Razmig.
Thank you
It's
very
a
much.
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
most
Thank
welcome.
you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.